All right, y'all, so let's talk about this. You guys remember after the Terrence Crawford Canelo fight? Canelo said, "Oh, he's a good fighter. He's a great fighter. I just couldn't go. I don't know, but he's a great fighter, right?" And he just kept saying he couldn't go. His body just wouldn't go, right? But he credited Crawford for just being a great fighter, and right. But he made it known his body just couldn't go. And I told you guys, I said, he's saying Crawford won, right? Can't deny that. But this whole my body just couldn't go stuff, here we go. Then he said he was happy. His career was already cemented, his legacy cemented, all this. So, he's not mad and upset and all that, whatever. Okay. So I told y'all, remember how I highlighted my body couldn't go. I told y'all, I said, hopefully Canelo don't do what most fighters do. Get his ass whooped, disappear for a while, and then come back with excuses. Isn't that what Canelo just did? And I also said that because he's been a fighter that comes back with excuses. So let's assess his excuses real quick. His reasons for losing, according to him and his fans. Lost to Floyd Mayweather. Oh, he was just a baby. He was too young. He wasn't ready. Same 23-year-old that racked up 43 wins by the time he got to Floyd, right? Yeah, like 43 wins. Something like that. 43, 44 wins, something like that. Beat other experienced grown-ass men. Huh? Look at who he actually got in the ring with before he got to Floyd. Yeah, you got fighters right now that got like 20-something fights. 20-something fights. And y'all want to compare them to Floyd? Like they're better than Floyd? Like that dumb shit Roy talking about Shakur being better than Floyd and all that? Man, please. But anyway, just look at it. Let's just look at it. This dude had already beaten grown men. Experienced grown men, which means he wasn't always 23. He was even younger than that. Y'all the same so-called boxing historians will brag about Wilfredo Benitez and all these other guys who was winning belts at 17 and 19, young ages and shit, right? I'll tell you what, man. If he was too young to beat Floyd, and I remember I was there, I was in that time of it. I remember how everybody was saying Floyd was old. Floyd wasn't going to be able to handle his speed, his pressure, and the fact that he was so relaxed. He's so poised in there. He's so calm. And his power, he got everything to beat Floyd. I remember that. It's funny how after the fight happened, all of a sudden now Floyd was, he wasn't old all of a sudden. Well, Floyd beat him with experience. Like, well, asshole. Call it what you want, but he beat him at everything. He out-jabbed him, he out-hooked him, he out-upped him. He did everything better than Canelo. And he stood right in front of him. You got other fighters who lose at 34 years old, 33, 32, and they tell you they were washed, even 30, but they were washed up. This man was almost 37. Floyd is the only fighter in history that never aged. He just reached a certain age and stayed there forever. Even now, he isn't older, he's the same age. So I sit here and I listen to that bullshit excuse. He was just a baby. Okay, I know. That's what y'all say after he got his ass whooped. But all before that, nope. There's no way Floyd's going to be able to beat him. Remember Larry Merchant? If Floyd Mayweather thinks he's the best fighter in the world, why doesn't he fight Canelo Alvarez? Because they thought that was the one. Tore his ass up. Easy. He wasn't in his prime yet. The fuck out of here, man. Would be a country-ass, bald-head nigga that wanted to sit up and try to take credit away from another black man. But anyway, that I actually earned it. But the motherfucker who out here ain't doing shit, let's make excuses for them. All right. Let's look at his next excuse. He goes up and he challenges Dimitri Bivol. He wants to be light heavyweight champion. This is the same dude that had already went up at 175 pounds and beat the other Russian guy, okay? Stopped him. And that dude took the fight on short notice. Really short notice. But stopped him. Okay? Everybody said they believe Canelo go up to heavyweight. I heard a motherfucker say if it was a such thing as a super heavyweight, I think Canelo would go up and win. There's nothing Canelo can't do, right? And basically, they was that Canelo could do no wrong. Then Canelo went in there with basic Bivol. And everybody thought basic meant, oh, he can't fight. But no, basic. Because there's ways you can be basic in more than one way. Okay? But fuck all that. People say Bivol ain't that guy. Too straight up and down. Nah. Canelo's going to see everything coming. He's not fast enough on his feet. And Canelo's going to chop his body down. Everybody broke down what was going to happen. Bivol didn't have a chance. All of a sudden, Bivol beats Canelo's ass pretty much easily. Made it look really easy. Canelo was too small. He has to stay at 168. It's not fair because that guy's too big for him. Who called out who? And regardless, he went up. Y'all wanted to see little ass Floyd go up and fight Andre Ward. But y'all didn't want to see Canelo go up and fight Andre Ward. I mean, when he fought Sergey Kovalev, that's the other Russian guy. When he fought him and stopped him, was y'all crying like he was too small for 175 then? And remember, same dude was willing to go to cruiserweight to fight a guy that wasn't worth a damn. I forgot the guy's name. I watched him fight him. I'm like, man, I see why Canelo want to fight him. I already see why. That fight didn't happen. Mostly probably because nobody had interest in that fight. Nobody even knew who the hell that guy was. But he was too small for Bivol. So Bivol wants to fight him again, but at 168. I'll beat him at any weight class. From 68, 75, doesn't matter. He says he's unbeatable at 68, so I want to fight him at 68. And Mauricio Sulaiman made sure that he jumped in and make excuses. You know why Mauricio Sulaiman did that? Because he don't mind taking the blame for the fight not happening, but he didn't want Canelo to lose any credibility and people thinking he was ducking Bivol, which that's exactly what he was doing. And then Bivol fought, I can't remember the guys, it's another Mexican guy who also wanted to fight Canelo. And he said, I don't care about Canelo being Mexican or whatever. I don't even know what that means. I mean, we're all Mexican, but we're fighters, so what, right? Y'all remember that video, right? And I told you, I said, now imagine black fighters going, well, I'm black American, so I don't want to fight another black American because I represent black Americans. Y'all will be like, oh man, he's just scared to fight. All right, so hold up, right? Now, check this out. Canelo said, if that guy, like if Bivol beats that guy, he said, this is how arrogant this motherfucker is. If he wins, if Bivol wins, I give him a rematch. But if he loses, then no. Okay, even if he lost, he still kicked your ass. So what does that do for you by that guy beating him? Don't you want to beat the guy that beat you? Okay, so the fight never happened. And he would have got his ass kicked at 68 the same way. So he went from being too young, just a baby, to too small, too tiny, itty bitty Canelo. Okay. He goes in there sounding like he's telling, super confident, telling Crawford he's too small, telling Crawford he's not special, he's no different from nobody else, he's right, everything, right? And I told you, as far as I'm concerned, I don't care what nobody says. He felt like Crawford was the safer fight between he and Benavidez. He never felt comfortable that he can beat Benavidez. I don't give a shit what he says. He can make all the excuses he wants. His excuses for not fighting Benavidez, he done nothing. He beat only one champion. This guy done nothing. Then he represents Mexico, and he don't want to fight another Mexican. But he ends up fighting Jaime Munguia, who's Mexican. Well, not only that, but then he goes into saying Beaver was disrespectful towards him. And so now you got to be friends. I mean, the excuses keep changing, man. The excuse is always something else. Just let's keep adding to it. I forgot what lie I told last time, so I got to make him something else now. And so he ducked him. And that man was his mandatory for 3 years. So he gets in there with Crawford and gets outboxed. Looked really stupid in there. Couldn't land much of shit. Repetitive ass combinations, frustrated. And now he has leg cramps. That's why he lost to Crawford. That's why he lost to Crawford, because this time he had leg cramps. So let's go back again. Too young, just a baby. Too small, too itty bitty. Now he has his menstrual cycle kicked in, but it didn't go in his stomach. It went to his legs. So he had cramps in his legs, and that's why he lost to Crawford. And then now that Crawford is retired, Canelo claims he wanted the rematch. Yeah, he wanted the rematch. Oh, now that Crawford's gone. Notice how he was quiet and didn't make not one video the entire time. But now that Crawford is gone, we got to find a way to get Canelo's name back out there, because he's still one of the biggest stars out there. And we got to try to redeem him. So, now you want to offer Crawford a bunch of money to come back for a rematch. How you know your cramps won't come back, huh? Now he had leg cramps. I told y'all, man, this is what these fucking fighters do. I just like combat sports. I love to see a good fight. I love to be in a good scrap. It's simple. I'm not a fighter fan. I'm not any fan. I just appreciate and respect. That's as far as this shit goes with me. People are full of shit. So I don't care who your favorites are. People are full of shit. Now, I'm not a fan. It doesn't mean I don't like what fighters do in the ring. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm no fan. No. If you get your ass whooped, you just get your ass whooped. I'm not crying over it. I don't have a personal relationship with you motherfuckers. But at the end of the day, here's Canelo with more excuses. Now he had cramps in his legs. Okay. Y'all booed Tank Davis when he said, I had grease in my shit, and you know it, right? Y'all booed that, right? But now y'all going, oh, I knew something was wrong with Canelo. That wasn't Canelo in there. See, now it all makes sense. He had his menstrual cycle. Oh, that's okay. See, now I get it. So Crawford, no, you didn't beat Canelo, brother. All right, you didn't do shit, Crawford. His cramps kicked in. You got lucky. So that's what we're going to go with now. It's always something with this guy, man. When is he ever going to lose and just say the better man won? And leave it at that? Because when you say it in the ring, but then do a video somewhere down the line, making excuses as to why you lost, you know, I lose respect for people like that, man. Because at the end of the fucking day, man, it's always the biggest fights of your lives. Somehow that's when everything goes wrong. Otherwise, when you win, even when you struggle, even if you come from behind and get a knockout, you know, or whatever, you don't bring up your cramps or you being too small or too young or whatever. Only excuse we waiting for now is too old. For him to fight somebody, even if that motherfucker is older than him, but he's just too old. He couldn't go with that with Crawford because Crawford is older than him. Okay? But he wants to continue to fight. So, no, it's not the old man excuse. This is the same Canelo. And this is not a better version of Canelo. This Canelo was slower. And it's not just the Crawford fight. No, you can see he's slowed down. You know, he's not as mobile. Any of that shit. This ain't the same Canelo that fought Floyd. You absolutely right, but he's not a better version. That's what all you Floyd haters want to say that because y'all want to make it seem like, oh, this version Floyd would beat the shit out of Canelo now. I never ever seen any version of Canelo and I thought he'd beat Floyd. No. He just is not good enough to beat Floyd. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. And what y'all think about a size advantage, it's funny because if Floyd had to go up to 168, y'all wouldn't give a fuck, but y'all the same one saying that Canelo's too small for 175. You see how these pussy ass people think and how they make hypocrites of themselves? So now you had leg cramps. Okay. So why don't you get together, Canelo, with Clarissa Shields and Baumgartner and Katie Taylor and all them, and have a sit down with them and let them tell you, what they do, when that time of the month comes and, just how to deal with it. So that way, just in case it happens again, you know how to deal with it better. You had leg cramps. Shit happens, fighters go through things, but like I said, it's always the biggest fights of your career. When you lose, all of a sudden, here's an excuse. And just in case your fucking hair is not real, get in touch with Jarrell Miller. Find out what type of glue and product he was using, and don't use that. Because you see what's going to happen if somebody punch you in your fucking head. All right? End of the day, that's his excuse for losing to Terrence Crawford. And I kind of wanted to do a part 2 to this because there's some shit I wanted to bring up. But, I'll decide that after I drop this one if I'm going to do a part 2 or not. But as for now, man, plain and simple, it is what it is with this guy, man. Every time he loses, it's some excuse. And everybody chimes in and starts saying it as if, yup, that was the reason. He can say what he wants to say. But I will say this to you, Canelo Alvarez. Since you're still fighting, and you're still fighting at 168 pounds, well, you beat the little brother, but there's a guy named Jamal Charlo that's still undefeated, and he's at 168 pounds. Fight him. I mean, you fought Edgar Berlanga. Fight Jamal Charlo. This way, you don't have to come up with the you was too old excuse because you and Jamal Charlo the same age. Now, unless you're going to find another excuse, as your fourth one when you lose a fourth time, just to be seen what excuse you're going to come up with next. That's the one we're waiting for. We just waiting for the I was too old excuse. Everybody who's smart enough to put their ego aside and be real enough to see what they're capable of doing, what they can still do, what they can no longer do. Whatever weaknesses have come upon you, all of these different things, whether it's your timing, your reflexes, whatever, your footwork, whatever it may be, your ability to take a punch, whatever. Being real with yourself is the best thing that you can do. It amazes me how you guys had a great training camp. You felt great, your body, mind, everything. But in the fight, something just happened. I know what happened. Terrence Crawford was just too fucking good for you. That's what happened. And you thought that you was going to go in there, and at some point, no matter, even if he's ahead on the scorecards, you was going to catch him. He was going to go night-night. And basically, you'd still be the champ. Yeah, that's what y'all thought. And still, So when your countryman stood there and said, my question is to Terrence Crawford. Hey, Terrence, are you ready to feel the Mexican power of Canelo? Oh, yeah. And you sitting there just smiling. Yeah, I'm going to catch that motherfucker. Yeah. Joke's on you, silly goose. Anyway, that's his excuse. And we're just waiting for what the next excuse is going to be. At the end of the day, I said what I said.